Hello, my darlings, my beautiful waking gods and goddesses. Maria Weiss here. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty. This is episode 398 and my 21st installment of Conversations with Men. And I have with me one of my one great work network compadres, Axel Dahi here. Welcome, Axel. It's been such a long time since we've
Yeah,
talked.
thank you, Maria. How are you? You okay? It's been a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we were just talking about the state of the world. And you and I were on the same page because it's all the same shit show, just a different year, different day, but
Still
there's still
slavery.
so much work to be done. So, tell us what you've been up to and tell us about, really, in your opinion, the work that still needs to be done.
Yeah, it's like I said, I've been almost half for a year without posting anything. I was a little bit, and still I am very disappointed of the state of humanity, you know. People the things are still seem to get worse and worse every day by day. People still don't get it. Many aspects. They're still very naive and childish in many aspects of the big plot. The so-called rulers, unelected rulers of this planet are planning against the human race. You know,
Indeed.
um, there's so much infighting, especially in the alternative community, so-called community of freedom movement, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah,
People are very ignorant and of the dynamics of human freedom and how the world control system really works.
yes.
You know, they don't understand the many aspects of the control system or the worldwide control system. That it's very complex. It's not just an ideology. It's not just a group of people. You know, and that creates a lot of infighting between the um, people in alternative media and the freedom movement. There's no such thing as a freedom movement. All people they want freedom for their own selfish reason. That's all
Indeed.
it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's frustrating. It's sad. Um, Human being, even the average dumb idiot out across the street. I spoke with some people about the ideology of, what did I say, ideology, philosophy that regards human freedom, the dynamics of the system that we live in, how things really works, the dynamics of the everyday society. People are very brainwashed, you know.
Yes.
The people think that freedom is that people think that freedom is not such a thing as freedom or slavery. They think that the system that we live in, which is a system of slavery, is normal. It's somehow normal and moral.
Yeah.
That yeah, we were better off than decades ago. I mean, by still slavery, it's called covert slavery. You know, they're not telling you, they're giving you the illusion of freedom by you're a slave. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, people, it's it's swill and garbage, a lot of nonsense. Look at the degeneracy of the entire society, you know. The so-called cultural Marxist agenda, it's in full steam everywhere,
Oh, it sure
especially here in
is.
the West.
Mm-hmm.
The degeneracy of the society. People don't know the moral fabric of the society is it's plummeting. You know.
Yeah. And you're in the UK. You're in the
Yeah.
UK. I'm in America. I've spent a lot of time in the UK, and my experience of the UK is like way sound asleep. I mean, just walking zombies. Everybody looks good. Everybody is fancy, especially in the neighborhood that I was living in, near Soho. And it's like this wash of willful ignorance, among other things, and this comfortably numb sort of way of being that as long as you have the fancy clothes, the fancy car, the fancy apartment, going to fancy restaurants and eating fancy foods and on and shopping, that you are in fact free. And the witnessing of that, it's almost like I was naive about that, because thinking I was escaping America to go to the UK, because the UK has been around a lot longer than America, I was assuming, I made some really false assumptions. And not to not, I love the UK. It's beautiful. Um, I've managed to have keep good relations and friendships. However, and I wanted to ask you about this. My friendships with those people are not based on truth, to be quite honest. It's based on the frivolities of our commonalities of our enslavement, you know. And I think that's one thing that we have to face up to. So I wanted to ask you, how is that for you, knowing what you know about how the system works, and then having to interface with the average person who really isn't interested? How do you deal with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I spoke with colleagues, work everywhere. Um, when you ask them many things about how the system really works, about the control system and the dynamics of the enslavement of the enslavement of the human race and the things that affect people in the everyday society and the many dynamics about human freedom, people are quite ignorant. I just make an example. I've been asked about, see, because you're in America. I've been in the United States a few months ago in New York. I went to visit some family. I went to New York. Never been in the United States,
Mhm.
and I lived in Texas as well for part of my childhood. So there's a big culture difference between the United States and the UK, especially when, although the culture is quite similar in some aspect, but there's in some aspect are quite different. Okay, the mindset, the mentality, and especially when it comes to self-defense and gun ownership and firearms. Okay,
Yes.
the United States, the obviously we all know it. I know it. I lived in a state like Texas, where guns culture is very huge in America, especially
Yes.
in a state like Texas.
Yes.
You see, which
Yes.
I respect myself to have fire gun ownership because it's based on one of the principles of self-defense. You know, defending yourself. It has nothing to do even in the Constitution of the United States. The, not that I agree with many aspects of the founding father because, but they even telling you the usage of firearm and guns are only primarily about government tyranny. You know, in case such eventuality when government abuses its power and encroachment with the freedom of the citizen. That's where guns should be used. You know, when the government wants to have total control and impose overt slavery upon the citizenry. You know, yeah, you can say guns or firearms and any form of self-defense tools are also for ancillary uh, purposes. Like somebody's trying to commit transgression against you and
Mhm.
your loved ones, your fellow citizens. Yeah, you have the right to defend yourself.
Yes.
It's within your right, you
Yes.
know,
It
to
is a
defend
gray
yourself.
area, however. It is a gray area, however,
Because in
it
the
comes
United,
to bullshit laws, state by state by state. You still have to prove, and you will be under fire. It's just very strange.
Exactly. And what I found here in the UK, the culture of self-defense and firearms, it's almost non-existent. It's
Yes.
very, quite frankly, it's not only in the UK, mainly in the UK, but in Europe in general. People are very domesticated when it comes to self-defense.
Yes.
That's why the number, in many cases, in many areas in the UK are very unsafe. There's a lot of stabbings, a lot of gangs. Um, is the knife crimes are very high in many neighborhoods in the UK.
Hmm. Yeah.
In many, especially in London, in the rogue, there are many rogue areas, even here in Liverpool, Although there's many areas are relatively safe, which is true. You can walk at night and nobody's gonna harass you. But so in the United States as well. But folks, what I'm saying is the cultures people they don't understand the principle of self-defense
Yes.
very
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to gun, you know, which is very important. One of the pillar of, if you understand natural law and the principle of natural law, there's the non-aggression principle, which is not to harm and initiate harm against your fellow human being.
Yes.
And you have once harm is transgress upon you, you have the right to defend yourself.
Yes.
And people don't get it here. They got the balls clipped off, to be honest.
Yes. It's very
And,
neutered. It's very
and it's
neutered.
very difficult to own firearm guns here. You
Yeah.
know, very. I try to apply for gun permit to have permit to request a gun permit to own firearms and it's very difficult. And I'm going to explain quickly
Yeah.
how difficult it is compared to the United States
Hmm.
to have firearms and to own guns and permits. First of all, to own firearms in the UK, you need to apply through the department of the through the police department on the website. And
Really?
they're going to ask you, you need to fill a form, and they're going to ask you a lot of questions. Even to own guns, a small gun or a handgun, it's very difficult, very difficult. You won't be able to do it to the legal way. You don't have you may have some gun shops, but it's very difficult. You need to be a licensed gun owner, and the for you to own a gun here in the UK, you cannot just have guns for self-defense reasons.
Really?
Okay, you need to
Okay.
be a hunter. That's one of the main reason for you to own a gun in the UK. Compared to United States, when you have the Constitution that protects the right. Not that I support the Constitution because I'm not a constitutionist, but yay, it's way better than here over there, and
Hmm.
it's very difficult to own firearms here.
Okay. So
It
do
makes
you
it
have to
very
prove that you are a hunter then?
yes.
How do you prove that? Like, how does that happen? The proof
Yeah,
of.
first of all, you need to whenever you apply for the license, you
Hmm.
need to tell them they, that you're registered to a gun club.
Okay. Wow.
So you need to tell them you and there aren't many gun club here, especially the city that I live in, Liverpool. Yeah, you have shooting range, obviously, but then few of them. It's not like in the United States, the quite common, widespread. Pretty every state has that. Many cities have gun a shooting range everywhere, you know, and gun shop everywhere where you can trade and sell guns with no problems. It's quite difficult. And for you to even acquire a firearm, you're probably gonna you have to go to not to private gun selling
Mm-hmm.
shops, which
Mm-hmm.
is and only the government is allowed to have guns and the armed police. And even if they see you carrying a gun, even if you have a license and the police sees you, they're gonna call the police and you and they look. Let me explain to you.
Mm-hmm.
The police in here in the UK, for the most part, is not armed. Okay, they have the non-armed police, which is the majority of the police, and then you have the armed police forces. Okay, there is a section of the police, the UK police, that has firearms for domestic terrorist
Okay.
purpose. If there
Wow.
is a shooting or a terrorist attack, you have the armed police forces, and then you have the military. You have the SS, part of the UK elite special forces, and then you have the UK Army. Just like the United States, you have 75th Rangemen, the US Delta, and the US Navy, etc. You know, only the UK Armed Police is allowed to own firearms. Okay, it's not like in the United States where the police is armed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So yeah, and if they seize you, because you need to understand, people are not used to see people with guns in the UK.
Yeah.
In America, it's different. In the United States,
Yeah.
people are used to see people with guns. The police has guns.
Yeah.
People owner have firearms, so they used to, you know. In the UK, it's not the same unless you're part of a gang or certain area where they have the black market where people illegally acquire guns.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is that popular, the black market for guns?
yes, yeah,
I would
yeah,
assume that it would be. I mean, if you
yes,
have to sit
because
there
you
and shelter
cannot
yourself.
legally purchase firearm. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing to me. I consider Europe to be, and especially the EU, to be Hitler's unified Europa realized. And
Yeah,
it's a terrible thing
it's
to
a
say.
machination, a combination of fascism and communism.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
it's not a
It's
good
a
combo.
totalitarian serfdom tiptoe,
Yes,
which is going to be a global totalitarian regime, which is the goal of the so-called ruling class.
right,
Uh,
right. And both of these arms are part of the leftist agenda, my darlings. Okay, so make no mistake about it. And people don't know that. They think that it's, part of the left, right, center paradigm, but it's not.
no, it's Satanism. That's what it
Yes,
is.
yes,
Because the ideology of Satanism, you have the ideology that you have master and slaves. That's what government is.
yes, yes,
That's what fascism and communism basically are.
yeah,
People a lot. That's one of the main reason. And I'm gonna speak about the infighting in the freedom movement. This is how statists think. They fall for the Hegelian dialectics,
indeed.
pinpointing the differences of the two sides
Mm-hmm.
without looking at the common denominator of the ideology of fascism and communism, political ideology, which are not political ideology; those are occult ideology.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
Satanists and dark Luciferian give that to people.
yes,
Okay, which is the ideology of statism, the big cult of called government and Satanism
yes,
behind it.
yes,
Okay, that's people don't understand. The people unfortunately bought the revisionist um, revisionist notion that the Nazis somehow were good people. They were trying to go against the system and go against the international banks. So when they were the puppets of the
yes,
international
yes,
banks, so just like the Allies
yeah,
and the Soviet Union,
yeah.
it's a
And
war
religion
between
was in the
violent gangsters.
background.
They
Religion is in
control
the
all
background.
sides.
Yes.
And people want to compare, they want to pinpoint. That's people who buy into the dialectics of fascism and communism. Instead of look at the common denominator between what do they have in common, both of them, and start analyzing the common denominator and the commonality between the two parties, they want to pinpoint the differences, which are irrelevant in many cases. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
those are different implementation of a system of control and slavery.
Absolutely.
That's what
It's all about
fascism and
control.
communism are.
Yeah.
You know,
And crushing the
look
human
at the
spirit.
yeah, crush the human spirits, both a system of slavery. What do they have in common? Nazism and
Yeah.
the communism.
Yeah.
They both have secret police. Czechia in Soviet and in Russia, and the Gestapo in Germany. They both police state. Heavy, sorry, military presence in the street everywhere. What do they have? A private school or mentoring is banned.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have to go to public schools. They have a indoctrination system where
Yes.
the government controls the amount of information that the people get to hear, the propaganda of the government. This is what
Yes.
people get taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What else? I mean, we can go
All of it.
on and on.
I mean, all of it. And I think that's
You
part of
live in
what,
a system of slavery called government where they have more relativistic
yes.
uh, laws, which they're not based on true morality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
People don't know what true morality is. It's all
yeah.
relative.
They don't know what
It's
rights are.
okay for
They
it's
think they're
okay
talking.
for
They
us
think
to do that.
government is there for the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay
Sorry,
for
go.
us to do that, but not for you. I mean, it's just
Exactly. They think they're free.
insane.
They think
It's
they're free.
insane. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
think the government is there to protect their own rights. The government is there to improve the quality of the citizen. That's what
Mhm.
people think the government is supposed to do. That's the ostensible purpose that the so-called ruling class
Yeah.
want people to believe so they can keep the system of slavery in place.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but that's not the actual purpose of government. If you understand what government is, if you
Yeah.
pay attention, uh, and what government does, it does the exact opposite. It's
Yes.
there to control you and to enslave you.
Yeah.
That's what government is.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the false. It's based on the false idea that that of the authority vested in human beings. They are master and slaves. That's why it's rulership.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
it restricts the.
how do you, Axel, in your life, in your personal life, and also in your creative life, how do you navigate the interface of the shitstems of enslavement? Because it's everywhere. And for those of us who really think that we are exempt, I'm not exempt.
Nobody is.
I'm waltzing in and out of it, and I have to pick and choose the poisons I get to interface with because it's not a one and done. I mean, the whole thing needs to be completely eradicated and revised. So, how do you do it? What are some of the things? Like, what are your challenges? And what are the things that really work for you? Because I think that I know that my viewers are very interested in it's not just the awakening process, it is the integration of what you have discovered, the objective truth, and how to implement the objective truth, or how to implement your life into the objective truth. And that's a challenge.
Yeah, you're objecting into your life. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy because especially when you have most of the people who don't know anything, it's a bit challenging and you're gonna feel alone in many cases,
Yes.
because most people don't get it, and you're gonna feel isolated from the rest of the people.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's it's not easy when most people don't know anything. You look at the zombie, they walk around, they don't know anything, and it's frustrating. But you have to put up, you have to get on with that.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. What are some of the tools or some of the ways that you deal with the isolation and the loneliness?
No, I mean, read knowledge,
Hmm.
do eclectic variety of research
Hmm.
in many sources,
Hmm.
even of the sides, the people you don't particularly agree with. You need to learn how to contrast,
Yes.
get most of the information, a variety of gather the variety of information, eclectic variety of sources and research, process them and put them out to the people, and
Hmm.
draw your own conclusion. Come to your own conclusion
Hmm.
based on objective truth and the data. There
Hmm.
are they're
So
there
you
at
find
at your
comfort in
fingertip.
doing that, correct?
Yeah, I
Okay. Yeah.
read, do research, and I put it to the people. I do some content with that. I don't just read and take in information and just do nothing with that. I put it out to the people, do presentation, do videos, interviews, and anything, and
Hmm.
discuss with other
Hmm.
people who know this
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
dynamics. There are about human freedom and a system of slavery that we live in, and how to address the problems,
Yes.
the symptoms, the causes, and the solution of the problems
Hmm. Hmm.
and the
And
causal factors of it.
and how do you interface all that with like your personal relationships, like your friendships? Do you have
Some
friendships of like-minded, like-hearted people who are interested in the truth?
maybe few people, to be
Hmm.
honest. I have I know a lot of people, family and friends. Yes, some people, probably one or two knows all of this. But there's unfortunately a lot of them, they still buy into the political narrative,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
They still think that the system is real, that it's somehow it's moral to live under government and
Yeah.
rulership,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's all it is.
Yeah.
When you point of fact, it's slavery.
And do you I know I've done this where it gets to the point where you can't stand one more word and you just I know I've done this where I've just like bah! I've just upchucked just a whole lot of stuff and they're all like, do you end up doing that or are you more able to, just sort of back off and just let it be?
At some point, look, I always say this. If people don't look, whoever, whenever, if you have friends or family members or people you care about, tell them the truth about the dynamics of the world that they live in. Okay, try to guide them in the right direction, the
Mhm.
right path. Okay, show them the information that you know about the dynamics of the system that we live in and freedom and the society that we live in. Give them, present them with some knowledge and the truth in front of them. If they don't want to hear that, if they don't want to, they can be bothered to do any of the research for themselves. It's their own karma. Leave it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's their own problem, because you're not gonna force them to
No, you're not.
understand to
I know. It's like, oh,
understand the
here she
dynamics of
comes.
truth.
Here she comes. Stay away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I'll do. That's what I do, and I let them be that. If they want to be ignorant, it's their problem.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
said they don't have the right to be ignorant because their ignorance it's our enslavement. It's their enslavement, it's our enslavement for
Yeah.
people who know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and it's
Indeed.
that's the problem. I wish we could live into another planet where people who know the dynamics would be free with no government and living into an anarchical society
Yeah. Yeah.
and have slavery in here on planet Earth. But we cannot do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's
How do you keep it all in balance? I know before we hit record, we were talking about really the disappointment in the big picture, and yet we have to figure out, you and I, on in our own lives, we have to figure out ways to carry on. What do you do to stay in balance and to really keep your spirits up, and especially in light of just a lot of things within the matrix circling the toilet bowl, um how do you do it aside from doing the research and aside from putting out the content? What are some of your things to keep yourself uplifted in the midst of it all?
no, you gotta be positive. I know there's no really nothing to be positive about the state of mind of
Oh, man.
humanity,
Yeah.
the things that are happening now. But now you know the system, you know how the system really works in a large extent. Obviously, we don't know the every single details. There are many things we don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
but the majority, for the large picture, I understand what's happening, how the world is structured, how the power structure is structured, the world control system is structured, and in the machination and etc. etc. Now you know that you're a slave. So for you to be depressed and just let them have you is not the solution. You need
Hmm.
to get to work and research and study the dynamics that
Hmm.
are affecting human freedom and people around you and the society that we live in, and try to influence other people and tell them, hey, you're a slave, you need to do something about it, wake
Hmm.
up,
Yeah.
because it's not acceptable. You're much more than this, than a human robot,
Yeah.
human, a being with with flesh, and just here to work and reproduce, go to school and pay your taxes. You're much more than that. Okay, you can't just be depressed. Oh my God, we're slave. Yeah, and then what are you gonna do about it? You gotta do something about it.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and just accept it. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, and most
take it
people
in your own
default
ass.
to
You
bad
can't do
habits.
that because then you're gonna be uh, complicit with the evil that is happening.
Hmm. That's
So,
the big trouble about it, is the sort of passive compliance to everything that is evil. You do
yes,
need cats.
exactly. This is what people don't understand. They think, oh, be ignorant. People think that ignorance is bliss. No,
No.
ignorance is evil. Okay,
Yeah.
be ignorant of the dynamics of human slavery, and be ignorant of the dynamic that affects your own life, and be ignorant of you being a slave, not
Hmm.
caring about it, say not caring about the system of slavery that you live in, and saying, "Oh, I don't care." Yeah, it's what it is. What can I do? Or I don't care. I don't want to look into any of this. It's
Mm-hmm.
evil. And that makes you evil. You are
Yeah.
complicit with the evil that's
Yeah.
happening. You're
Yeah.
gonna be held accountable,
Yeah.
whether in this life or whenever you leave this domain of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And people think, oh no, you're gonna die, we all gonna die, nothing's gonna happen. Okay.
Okay.
you okay, you gonna find out
Yeah. And,
for sure.
and that is
The
really
people
disturbing.
atheists who think that that's everything, the formal life, it's randomness. There's not such a thing of as purpose. There's no creative force in creation in the universe. Everything is random. Okay, you'll find out. You will find out that we don't have a soul. We just flesh robot, just walking around like zombies. We just robot in
Yeah.
flesh.
Yes. Yeah.
Flesh and blood beings that they don't have any purpose of life.
Yeah.
We're
No,
here
we're
to
mostly
work.
food. We're mostly food for these
Yeah,
demons.
yeah, and the people, there's no purpose. There's no okay.
Yeah.
People who think that way, who are complicit in evil, who don't care about what's happening around them. They don't want to be aware of their surroundings. They're gonna find out this is what happening. This is how Nazi Germany happened. This is how Soviet Russia and all the totalitarian regime throughout history
Yeah.
happened. All
Yeah.
the genocide and of government killing their own citizen or group of people living in that land of that country
Yeah.
that the government controls. This is what happened because people did not understand the principle of true morality.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did not question the legitimacy of government. They did not question the system they live in it. They were living under. They did not question why we have to pay taxes, why we have government laws, why we have government, why we have police, why we have military, who prints the money, why we have to um, while we have prohibition laws and etc. etc.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
did not bother to do any question.
Yeah.
Well, they did not question anything about us
Yeah.
who are who we are as humans,
Yeah.
our history and etc. They
Yeah.
did not bother to question any of this, and you get slavery, you get suffering, you get genocide, you get what's happening in Israel and Palestine,
Yeah.
okay, in Palestine, where the Zionist entity called Israel is massacring innocent people in Palestine. They occupy Gaza and etc. Hey, look at what happened in Africa as well, in many parts of the world.
Yeah.
Because people don't question anything. They don't question the system, and that's why things are like that happen.
Yeah.
Because you choose to be ignorant of the dynamics
Yeah.
of human enslavement and how to get out of it. You get you get this. You get slavery and suffering and genocide and death because people don't want to be knowledgeable and question the system. That's
Mhm.
why things are going to get worse and worse every day.
So in your work in disseminating um truth, where like I know there's a lot of people that are the awakening is stirring. They're noticing shit. They're noticing the bullshit more and more and more. Where would you say people need to start? Like, what would be your approach from the very, very foundational bottoms up?
They need to get the ego out of the way
Hmm.
because our human beings, as a species, we're very egotistical. We think we know the truth about everything when we don't know nothing. We're
Hmm.
very egotistical. The way of thinking. Okay, most human beings they think like their owners do. They're bunch of they are de facto Satanists. Okay, They have the mindset of the rulers of this planet, the satanic mindset, except they are ignorant. They know less than nothing, unfortunately. And they need to get the ego out of the way and come to the understanding that the world does not work the way you think it does. Like
Mhm.
Jordan Maxwell said, banks do not loan money, and government that do not protect rights, and etc. etc. Okay, the media is not there to tell you the truth. That's what people. It's a system of slavery. They're there to enslave you, to make them their bitch and slave.
Yeah.
Okay, the government is not there to protect you and etc. And people need to understand their mindset. They need to understand their psychological mindset.
Mhm.
They need to understand the mindset of their owners
How do you suggest that
and the
they?
body of knowledge called the occult, and how 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 it really works,
Mhm.
both the light and the dark occult,
What are some of
etc.
the steps to get rid of the ego? Because I think a lot of people just don't even understand what that is. Like what do you tell people about getting rid of their ego? How to do
The
that?
ego is difficult to do that. First of all, you need to come to the reality. There are some occult, I would say, tactics
Hmm.
of self-realization and initiation about how to do it. The first one is like, stop dreaming about the world that you live in. You think you know how the world really works. You know, start questioning the system, and
Hmm.
not only that, start researching, gathering data, eclectic data from a variety of resource of sources.
Hmm. Yeah.
Start reading books. And goes and so on. And I think it starts within themselves. They need to start knowing themselves, their own psyche.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, to me, it's the questioning of the system, questioning everything,
Yeah.
the narrative that the government pushes on you,
Hmm.
the entire society. Is the society really is what we've been told it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
and why?
Yeah.
Why are we here? Who are we?
Yeah.
You know,
Huge undertaking. Holy shit.
it's not easy.
And
Start questioning the
it's a
system. Where do
it's
we
a
come
lifelong
from?
process.
Why are we here?
Why am
Why
I
do
here?
we have a government?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Are they really telling us the truth? Start reading books. Go online.
Yeah.
There are many people who are talking about the system. The so-called people you call conspiracy theorists, like David Icke, Michael Tissarian, who else? Many others.
You, me.
David Icke, yeah, Mark Passio, many others. You know, start researching their work. They have their own books and piece of work. Start reading them, and
Mhm.
then you do your own research. You have to come and no, you need to learn. People, that's the big problem of people. They don't know how to filter the information. There
Yes.
was this, that's the huge problem. This is why the mind is susceptible to psyops and many
Yes.
form of mind control
Yeah.
and deceptive tactics of manipulation and
Right.
mind control.
Right.
They don't know how to filter information. They don't know how to process the information that they get,
Well, and
because
the information is triggering a
unfortunately,
lot of emotion. And when you
yes,
get
and the ego is on the
emotions,
way.
wow.
And not only that, because most of them, human beings, unfortunately, they think. They have this erroneous mindset. They bought this poisonous worldview of solipsism and more relativistic mindset.
Hmm.
That's basically there is no such a thing as truth. The truth is relative. It's
Yeah.
based on my
Yeah.
perception
Yeah.
about me. It's about me, me,
Yeah.
me, me,
Me,
me.
me, 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 me. There's the
Like
ego
the
right there.
egotistical. It's
Yes.
about me. What can I get for myself? Nothing about other people. You
Yeah.
know, this is why people don't want to get out of the. They think they're elevating their ego themselves of the to the state of godhood, thinking they're God, they're better than anybody.
Yeah.
You know, they're rulers, they're kings and queens. When point of view, you are nobody. Okay, this is how humans should stop dreaming about how you think the world really works and see it for yourself how the world really works. You know, and people, most human beings are solipsistic. You know, they think the truth is relative. They have this postmodernist
Yes.
mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Postmodernism, that truth is relative, and
Right.
people are more relativists. They think the right or wrong is based on their perception and according to their whims and preferences.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
And unless and until then people don't get out of the ego mindset, it's gonna be difficult for them to know any how the world control system works and how themselves really work, their inner world and their psyche
Hmm.
and the world around them as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It is a huge undertaking. And I'm happy you're continuing the track, as it were,
I
because
do what I can.
this is not a one-off. People think that when you're on this
It's a
path,
lifetime of studies and improvement. There's so many books.
yes.
It's you're gonna so much knowledge out there. And I wanted to say, people, the humans don't know how to filter the information. There is this thing, this method of truth methodology, truth discovery methodology called the
Hmm.
Trivium.
Hmm.
Okay, that
Yes.
the ancient civilization used to teach their people, especially people of the ruling class, because the slaves were not allowed to know this.
Of course not. There would be an
Because otherwise
uprising if they
they
knew it.
wouldn't be wanted to be slaves anymore,
Yes.
which is the how to filter and how to think critically.
Hmm.
Okay, called the trivium. Grammar, you know, grammar, logic, and rhetoric. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, it's frustrating. The trivium methodology, the three steps of the trivium: grammar, logic, and rhetoric. That's the modern version of the trivium. And then you
Hmm.
have knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Okay, for the ancient version of the trivium, which is the three steps on how to gather, process, and draw your own conclusion of the knowledge that you gathered. And people
Right.
don't know actually this. No, they don't know anything about this. This is why humans are people are that stupid, and that's why one of the main reasons we're enslaved as a species. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah.
And things are getting bad and worse every day.
Well, it's almost as if humanity is going to dumb itself down into oblivion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I plan to get off this. This is my last incarnation. That I'm done. It's like,
No,
no,
don't say that.
I don't want to come back. I see the trap of reincarnation, the trap of all that crap, because it is. It is
It's about
really exhausting.
People, they want to escape. Your work is in here, in here and now. It's about
Yeah.
what you doing here, you doing here, about how you confronting evil. You know,
Yeah.
it's people think they're gonna go somewhere better than here
Good luck with that
for
one.
not speaking out against evil, for
Yeah.
not standing up against the evil and the injustice
Yeah.
of this world, and you think you're gonna go better somewhere better than here? Phew.
Oh, so many of
Let
the
me repeat
woke
that last part.
Americans,
Phew.
yeah, so many
Okay.
of the woke Americans have no idea how lucky they are, how easy they have it here in America.
Oh
They
yeah. They
have no
think
fucking clue. And they talk about moving elsewhere. Go. Get the fuck out for real, and see how it is, see what it's like to be oppressed for real. And, when I hear that nonsense of these Americans saying how oppressed they are in America, I'm an immigrant. So it's like, dudes, you have no idea. You have no idea
you
how
born in the
great it
United
is.
States.
Huh?
Were you born in the United
No,
States?
no, I was not. No.
Oh.
So, I had to get citizenship. I had to learn English, and people have no idea. They take it for granted, and it's just so awful. It's so awful. I mean, I roll my eyes, and and it's stupid. It's just
Yeah.
dumb. It's dumb. They have no idea, and they
Uh,
want to go off to Europe. And, and as you know, in Europa, there's no First Amendment, there's no Second Amendment. It's neutered completely. So,
yeah, Europe is becoming a totalitarian shithole. That's
yes,
what it's becoming.
yes, it
A
is.
good combination of fascism and communism. How about
Yes,
that?
yes, indeed.
That's
Yeah,
what people
it's
are
the
getting.
perfect marriage.
Yeah. How, and because and they're asking for it. They don't understand. I'm gonna talk about briefly what I see every day on a daily basis on the social media and alternative media and in the society in general. People don't understand the fighting, they're buying into the divide and conquer strategy or between
Yeah,
race war or
yes,
wars and a cultural clash between
yes,
cultures. Not
yeah,
understanding it's a socially engineered dialectics
yes, indeed,
given you
indeed.
by the social engineering, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
It's a tactic to create infighting between people, white, black,
yeah,
Asian,
yeah,
rich and poor,
yeah.
you know,
It makes us
Christian,
easier to
Muslim,
control.
Jewish, Buddhist,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Those are tactics of manipulation.
yes,
The slaves fighting amongst themselves, you know,
yep,
slaves versus slaves, you know,
indeed, indeed. Makes it
and
easy to
people
control.
fighting. People here in Europe, they want to blame everything on the immigrants, not understanding it's a well socially engineered dialectics given you
Yes.
by the by the rulers, the
Yeah,
occult
yeah,
rulers of this planet.
yeah, yeah,
People they want to blame on the immigrants for the crime and everything. Yeah, don't understand. Yeah, why there's so many migrants coming in Europe? Why do you think that? It's part of the bigger picture of the world control system,
hmm,
creating a one world government. Okay,
yeah,
they want to destroy the cultures of each continent and every nations so
yep,
they can create a one world government. And how do they do it? They do it through dialectics, wars of aggression, creating humanitarian crisis, okay, deflation, inflation, the costs, the rising cost of living standards, the rising of the cost of livings, the degeneracy of the human of the moral fabric of the society, and etc. They are to weaken the man and the woman, so they're not going to rebel against eventual total control of the human race
Uh-huh.
and tyranny and slavery. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
Go so and on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you understand the long-term agenda of this psychopath, you'll understand
Yeah. They're playing the long
why
game.
everything that we're seeing now it's happening,
Yes.
pandemics
Yeah.
and etc.
Yeah. 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 I hear you. I hear you. And it's a brand
It's a
new.
sad state of affair. This
Well, my dear, and we're out of time. And I'm looking at the time like, wow, that went fast. Holy moly. Um, so what's on your plate these days? What kind of projects do you have going on? We'll make sure to have all of Axel's information uh in the show notes below. Um, what kind of stuff are you working on, sweetheart?
I'll see. I may probably plan to do some presentations,
Cool.
some video presentations. Um, Planning to do many things, even with my private life. I want to probably move from the workforce, etc. I want to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
I've been traveling in the last few years, been in
Cool.
many places.
Traveling is
I'm
good.
back. Yeah, I like traveling. It makes rejuvenate you. It makes it's good
Yeah.
for your health because you're moving a lot. You know, I don't live a sedentary life.
Yeah.
You know,
Me
which
neither.
is good for me. I work. I don't have this office job sitting at the desk. You know, I work at the reception, yeah, but most of the time I move. I do this. You know, I have to go upstairs, use the elevator, use the stairs. You know, clean outside. I
Yeah.
do everything. I love most of the time standing up. You know, so
Excellent. All right. Well, keep us posted on what you're up to.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you let
I
me
love
know.
having sobering conversations. And I love your passion and how you just don't fucking let up. You don't let up and you don't give any credit when credit is not due. I like that. I like that. You don't sugarcoat it. And you know,
Yeah,
we need that sometimes. We need a big, swift, hard kick in the ass
yeah,
to get
swift.
it moving because the complacency, the comfort zones that people have, it's like, oh my God. So indeed. So thank you, Excel. Thank you for your time. And thank you for, yeah, just keeping on. And especially when shit looks bleak, it looks like more of the same. But at the same time, the work that you do, the work that I do is so needed and so appreciated because there are
Yeah,
people
I agree.
looking
Only
for the
few of us
answers.
are doing this. It's not enough.
Yes. They're asking the questions and looking for it. So, thanks so much. And that is it for today, my darlings. And so until next time we meet, here's to love, truth, and beauty. Bye bye for now. Mwah. Ciao, Bellas.
Later, later.